Maybe I should unmute myself. Thank you guys for joining the 7 in 7 challenge. How to build a massive following on Facebook in just 7 days time with your handyman or service-based business. So I'm going to go right into it. I remember in the beginning of business, I had difficulty with my mindset. I thought everything was working against me, but in all reality, everything was working for me. And that's one thing that you need to realize in business. You need to shed those limiting beliefs. You are the owner of this business. You're not the customer. That's a major, major thing. I remember when I started business, one of my limiting beliefs were that people wouldn't be able to afford our services. Back then, 7 or 8 years ago, we charged $40 an hour. And I felt guilty because I knew people were working really, really hard to make that money. So one of my limiting beliefs that I had to overcome was I wasn't the customer being in the middle class, living paycheck to paycheck. I was the owner. And I had to provide enough value that the customers would come back over and over again. Just because you wouldn't pay top dollar doesn't mean that your customers won't pay top dollar for this amazing business. I remember in the beginning of business that I felt like I was asking people for their money, and it was really painful asking for that money. Now, I have found that it's not as bad as you think it is. People know you're providing this amazing service, and they will pay for high quality. If you're the lowest priced handyman in town, you'll be out of business in 2 years because nobody comes to the second cheapest handyman. They always go to the first. I've found over the years, it's not as painful and it's not as bad as you think it's going to be. Now, be prepared when you go through this training, it's a little bit uncomfortable. You're going to do things that you didn't necessarily know that you were capable of doing. Be prepared to take your business to the next level. And you're going to have to make some changes. I've seen y'all's Facebook pages. You've got to do something different to drive those leads in. Get rid of those limiting beliefs that are holding you back in business. First of all, you're the business owner, not the customer of the business. That makes a tremendous difference in how you approach the business. You have high quality services. You gotta think like a business owner, not like a customer. Maybe you would never pay for handyman services. I wouldn't. I've got several handymen that work for me. I would never pay for those services. One of them being my husband and some of them being his friends. You've got to be comfortable at charging prices. If you want to be the bargain basement handyman in your area, get off of here. Bargain basement roofer, get off of here. Bargain basement maid, get off of here. It's not for you. This is not going to work. You're going to be out of business in 2 years. You've got to change that mindset that people will pay for your services. They'll pay good money for those services. And you'll be able to take care of their homes with integrity. And they will gladly pay what you're worth when you're getting right to the right customer. Stop thinking like the owner. Stop thinking like a bargain hunter and start thinking like a customer who will pay a lot of money for high quality services. not the cheapest group around. If you're thinking people will pay for my services, they probably won't. You've got to change that limiting belief. You've got to compare yourself to being a professional service. And you can do this on your Facebook business page, that you're a professional service, that you're not just a guy in a truck running around to make some extra cash. It's not true. You are a professional. If you're on here, you want to scale and take your business to the next level. So stop thinking high quality, low prices. Those don't go hand in hand. You've also got to think of a unique selling proposition. It's not, I'm the lowest in town. It's not the word affordable. I remember when I started my handyman business, I didn't know how to word it. I didn't know verbiage back then. And so I said we were professional, affordable, and reliable. Professional, yes. Affordable, $40 an hour. That's more than most handyman charge. Most charge about $10 to $20 an hour. Now I charge $79 an hour, almost double. If I wanted to be the most affordable in town, I never would have went to that $79 price. And then on some of our jobs, we're much more an hour, depending on what the skills for the job entail. So stop saying high quality services at affordable prices, because you're going to get the people that are cheap. My goal is to provide high quality services at a respectable price. Your price in the handyman business, in the maid business, in the insurance business is going to make or break your business. If you charge too little, and I've seen people do it, I had 50 franchises at one time under my belt. And what I saw, it was people didn't get over this mindset thing. That's why I own all the businesses now. I don't have any more franchisees, because they couldn't get over this limiting belief of giving people price breaks. If I go into Walmart just on my good looks and say, hey, can I have a discount? No. If I go to a Walmart and my best friend's the manager, can I say, can I have a discount? No, they look at me like I was crazy. Your pricing is going to make or break you. And in retail businesses, you can't go and negotiate. Quit negotiating your prices with people to get the bids. It's not worth it. Pricing is everything in this business. I've seen people come and go in business that would have been great at business if they could have got their pricing correct. It's just so important to remember the pricing is everything when it comes to business. You need to have profitability in mind, even though later on I'll talk to you about profitability and the theory of profitability. But when you are doing the work as a handyman, 100% profit for the service and labor, right? Now, when you start getting employees or contractors that you're paying, it changes it a little bit. So profit is not guaranteed when you have other people working for you. Pricing is the number one factor to grow and scale your business. Now, the interesting thing is when you're the handyman, it's 100% profit. But when you have employees, that profitability changes. You have to charge what your services are worth. You have to charge what the markets will bear. So in terms of a handyman service, you're going to make it if you price it correctly to make a profit. You're going to have enough profit put into that job that you're going to make money showing up week after week after week, month after month after month. Remember, you're the owner, not the cleaner. If you're the handyman out there swinging the hammer, you have a job. You don't have a business. The price will make or break you. Another thing is, if you have employees, they can work 8 hours a day. It's not going to kill them. You can work 8 hours a day. Most of us work 10, 12, 16 hours a day. Employees can work 8 hours a day too. It doesn't mean you send them and to go work 8 to noon and they have the rest of the day off, or 8 to 3. You want to work them every day, 8 hours a day. And how can you ensure your employees are going to have work to do? Marketing on your Facebook page. Some people don't expect a full day, but you need to expect a full day from your people as you grow and scale your business. Another thing is to quit hiding the payments from the staff. They all know that you're making money. You go out, you do a bid, the customers will share what you bid on the job, and they know how much money you're making. So quit saying it's this genius pricing thing. It's not. To go to the next level, you need to quit hiding your charges from your public and from your employees. That doesn't mean go put all your prices online, but if somebody needs an estimate for hanging a TV, give them the price instead of going out and doing the bid. You'll weed out some of those customers that'll waste your time. So that is another important thing as we start delving into these limiting beliefs. Have I hit on a couple already? Maybe it's pricing. Maybe it's employees. Maybe it's profitability. Well, I'm not very good at profitability because I'm a handyman. I wasn't good at profitability either. I let somebody else run my financials for 7 years. When I took them over, I was over $1 million in debt and didn't even know. You have to know the numbers in your business. Numbers are facts. You want to see them yourself as the handyman business. Where do you want to go in your handyman business? Do you know? Because it's going to take a little bit more effort, a lot more effort to get to where you want to be than where you're at. So to go to that next level in business, most people don't have a clue how to get there. It is more marketing. And you don't have to spend those hundreds of thousands of dollars to get to that next level of business. To go to that next level, marketing. There's 2 reasons you're in business: innovation and marketing. So innovation helps with marketing. Marketing helps with innovation. There's those 2 reasons that you're in business: innovation and marketing. Marketing is to go out and get more customers for you. If you market right, you get your customers to go out and get more customers for you. Now, I'm going to stop you guys right here. I want to talk about perfectionism. As a handyman and going into a handyman business, I thought perfection was the key. It is not. Perfection is the enemy of profitability. Perfectionism produces procrastination. Perfection is impossible. Nobody is perfect. And believe me, I've made about every mistake that you can make in business and in life. Haven't we all, right? We've got divorces, kids that have messed up jobs, we were fired on remodeling projects with all the change orders, right? Perfection is not what we're looking for. What we're looking is for imperfect action to take you to that next level in business. Perfection, if you're doing the work, is impossible to scale or substantiate in business. It's not sustainable. You can have a perfect project. You've mounted that TV on the wall. It's great. There's always something a little bit off when you do it. It's not perfect. Every house that you go into, you don't find the stud immediately. I find it because it's my husband. But you don't find that stud immediately. Perfectionism is the enemy of profitability. it's not sustainable and it's not scalable. So keep that in mind as you want to scale your business, as you want to scale your marketing. You're gonna make mistakes, and it's okay. I've made about every mistake in marketing that you could actually make. Number one, autocorrect. One time I put this ad up and autocorrect put a terrible word up. I had customers going, Christy, I think you made a mistake on your marketing. And they told me about it. It wasn't perfect. It was actually kind of rude what I put up. So I took it down. Everyone that I write does not get knocked out of the ballpark. But I knock more out of the ballpark than the average person. And how do I do that? Imperfect action, over and over and over again. Another thing to keep in mind as you're marketing your social media and on Facebook, building this massive kind of audience, customers want to see you. Customers want to know who the handyman is. Customers want to know who the maid is. But they don't care about what's going on in your life. They care about what you're going to fix in later. What? There's three kinds of relationships in business, three kinds of relationships in life. And if you can understand these and master these, even with imperfect action, it can change your life. There is the selfish kind of transaction with a customer. I need to sell stuff to make money to pay my bills. So I sell you a service. You buy it. That's selfish. I only care about me. Here's my handyman business, buy from me. Here's my handyman business, buy from me. The second type of relationship is a mutual kind of relationship. They need the TV hung. I can hang the TV and get paid for it to pay my bills. This is the mutual kind of relationship in a marriage. Great, you've got the mutual relationship. 20 years later, you are married to a roommate, right? It's not very sexy. There's no passion there whatsoever. If you're in the first kind of marriage, you probably end up divorcing after 5 years. The second one can last 20, 30, a lifetime of years. Relationship in business and the relationship in personally. It works both ways. The third kind of relationship that's out there is the one where you anticipate their needs. You anticipate the needs of the customer before they even know what they need. So maybe you go in and you mount a TV, but you notice that their stud does not hold the TV very well. Maybe they have termites. So you found out the customer has termites. Do you go ahead and try to rehang that TV and it's probably going to fall down after the termites get to it, higher up on the stud? No. You talk to the customer. You let them know, got termites. This is something you probably need to fix. That's that third and special kind of relationship. I've got an amazing husband, Max, and I love to wear flip-flops. I live in Texas, so we can wear flip-flops 10 out of 12 months. But I do have a pet peeve. I hate when my toes get wet. So living in Central Texas, I realized walking out on the dew, I get water on my toes in the spring and fall. Doesn't really happen in summer, but it's the spring and fall, sometimes winter. And walking out there, and I ride to work with my husband. And so I was riding to work one day. I walked in and I said something to him. Well, the next day he backed up the truck. And I said, why'd you back up the truck? And he said, I didn't want you to get your toes wet. I know you hate that. He was anticipating my needs as his wife not to get my toes wet. He went out of his way to take care of my needs to not get my toes wet. You've got to do this with your customers. It doesn't mean walking up to their house and then vomiting everything wrong with their house all over them when you meet them for the estimate. When you know your niche market, you can anticipate the needs of the customer in the future. And that's one thing we're going to delve into this week is that niche market and taking care of your customers' needs. They want to see you. They want you to take care of their needs so they don't have to worry about it. Now, a lot of you are probably thinking getting fired from a job is the worst thing that can happen in your life. No, it's not. The worst thing that can happen is you can go out of business and be bankrupt because you had all these jobs coming in that you weren't profitable, or you didn't know how to market this amazing business, so you had no customers. Fired is not the worst word you're going to hear. You have to be able to anticipate those needs of your customer, and you're going to need to be able to market and scale your business, or you're going to be out of business, especially in 21 and 2022. You have to be able to scale your business with leads you own that nobody else owns. Thumbtack doesn't own them. Angie's List doesn't own them. Home Advisor doesn't own them. Because when you get those leads, you really don't get a lot of identifying information for your customers. Whereas if they come in through your Facebook business page, you're going to get their name. You can look at it. You can also see all the things that they're interested in. Plus, you're going to always have that contact. So being fired is not the worst thing that could happen. I think personally, the worst thing that could happen is you get a customer and you don't collect their information from your marketing. You don't get their name. You don't get their phone number. You don't get their email address. It's like you're throwing money out the window with your marketing, but you're getting customers, but they only come back once, right? And you want repeat customers that come back over and over and over again. Fired is not the worst thing that can happen. Worst thing that can happen is you don't capture the lead for your marketing, and you just wasted all that money that you've spent acquiring for your business. So that's not the worst thing that could happen. What's the difference between a professional handyman and somebody that just does it part-time? What's the difference between a professional handyman and a guy in the truck that, you know, just does it for some extra money around the holiday? A professional will bleed their profession throughout the Facebook business page. It's not them just slapping pictures up there. It's not them just going from job to job to job. Don't you want to be those people that are booked out several months in advance? With one of my handyman businesses, we're booked out because they follow to the T the 7-in-7 training. They are booked out until the first of the year. Until the first of the year. How do we do it? Facebook business page. Only place we ever advertise is Facebook. We know our customer. We know where they're sitting. We know what they're doing. We know where they're spending their money, because where they spend their money is a vote. So that's the most powerful vote, right? Are they spending their money at Home Depot? Are they spending their money at Target? Are they spending it at Walmart? Are they spending it at the dollar store? Where are they spending it? What do they do with their free time? That's a professional handyman. You look professional. You don't have a guy in sweatpants and a stand-up t-shirt with a backward ball cap on your Facebook business page. Maybe you're handy, and you're the one doing the handyman jobs right now, but you want to become the person that runs the business, not swinging the hammer. If you're swinging their hammer, you've got a job. You don't own a business. Your growth is limited. You can only make a certain amount of money. And when I talk to handyman business owners all across the United States, I hear, I want to get to $1 million business. I want to get to $1 million business. How do I get to $1 million business? Or that I'm making 6 figures. How can I make 6 figures a month or 6 figures a year in my handyman business? You can't. You're swinging the hammer. You need people to help you get there. You need a team to help you get there. You have a job if you're swinging the hammer. It's not a business. You've got all the troubles of having a business, but you don't have a business. You've got a job. And that's what most handyman franchises sell, is a job. They want you to go out there and swing that hammer. Of course, they have the scalability plan, but they don't give them this piece to marketing. They say you could do this, and this for marketing. I have 50 different ways to market your business that I've written. I would only use a handful of them because you're just spinning your wheels, you're spinning your time, you're spending your money out there. Until you stop swinging the hammer, it's going to be tough to scale your business. You're limited to physically what you can do. And if you've got a helper, still physically limited to what you and your helper can do. You have to have a system for marketing. You have to have a calendar for marketing. To get to those 7 figures, you need a system. You need a marketing system that works. I remember, do you remember the old days when we used to do conferences? Right before COVID, right? A couple of years ago, I was at a marketing conference, and this guy named David, I can't remember his last name off the top of my head, but his name was David. He's written a ton of marketing books, and he stands up and he goes, okay, everyone that purchased this conference, how many of you found it in traditional marketing? I'm sorry, let me start over. I get a little sidetracked sometimes. In marketing, how many of you purchased this from a telemarketer that called you on the phone and said, come to this conference? How many of you, 2,500 people, ages 16 to 85 were in the room at this marketing conference? How many of you purchased it from a telemarketer? Stand up. 16 to 85. How many people had purchased it from a telemarketer? How many do you think? You're right. 0. Only about 2%, 1 to 2% of all telemarketing calls actually pan out into customers. The second thing he asked is, how many of you in this room in the last 60 to 90 days purchased this conference from direct mail? Do you want to know how many stood up? Absolutely none. Only 1% returned on direct mail. There was a kick in 2020, but I still wouldn't recommend it. 0, 2,500 people, 16 to 85. Third one was traditional marketing. How many of you purchased this seminar from TV, radio, magazines? Traditional marketing. About 15% stood up. 16 to 85. All business owners. Only about 15% of the people stood up. The third question was, how many of you purchased this from a recommendation or seeing it on Facebook or another form of social media? 85% of the room stood up. 16 to 85. Fifth one. How many of you in this room in the last 60 to 90 days have purchased something or this seminar online? How many people? 1685 stood up. 100%. Every single person had purchased something online. They aren't using traditional media anymore. They're not using billboards. They're not using radio. They're not using TV. It doesn't work. You still pay for it, but it doesn't have the kind of exchange return on investment that it would have as social media or recommendations from friends. 100%. As a marketer, that told me I need to be on social media and bump it up, right? Tells every marketer that. But people are still paying tens of thousands of dollars to TV and to radio. It doesn't work. That regular stuff doesn't work anymore. You have to have a marketing system that works, that gives you a good return on your investment. If you have no marketing system, you've got marketing chaos going on. You have stuff coming and going. You're paying people to do your work for you. Outsourcing your marketing is like outsourcing your sex life. It's absolutely no stinking fun. You have to have something that's scalable. And the social media model, the Facebook model, is definitely scalable. It's what's going to get you to that next level of business. Whether that next level of business is 6 figures or that next level of business is 7 figures. Until you have some sort of system for your marketing and your business, it's not going to work. And once you get it down pat, it's less than minutes a day to market. Maybe you spend 1 day a month doing all your marketing for the month. Maybe you spend 1 week a year doing your marketing for the entire year. Without a system for marketing, it's going to be chaos, just like it is your business. You have to have a system. You can't wing it anymore. People can tell you're winging it. You have to have a system in your business. You have to have a system in your marketing, or you're going to have sloppy marketing, and nobody wants your sloppy seconds for marketing. You can't wing it anymore. You have to have a model, a McModel to go after. You want a McHack, which is I'm going to teach you to do for your marketing. You can't just throw your marketing like mud on a wall and see what sticks. You have to keep in mind your image, your branding. To take it to that next level in business, you have to be able to brand it as a company would brand it at that size. You can't pay top dollar and act like a bargain shopper. There is a reason for everything you do within your marketing. You can't just fix a problem or throw mud at the wall and hope it sticks. You have to think like your customer and the problems that they are having. And you need to speak to that. You can't just put a picture of a pergola up and go, we build pergolas. What's the problem that person's having to build a pergola or a deck or a patio? What you want to speak to it. When you do, you'll get tons of leads on your personal Facebook business profile instead of giving them to other people like Thumbtack, Home Advisor, and everybody else does. You start right, or you begin right, and then the basics, and build on those basics. You can build this massive following on Facebook. You have to keep in mind that you want to be able to solve the problem that the customer has. What are they laying in bed at night thinking about before they meet you? What is it that they want from you? That's something that you have to speak to. You just put a pergola up and say, pergola done. Call me for a free estimate. The Henderson family is so happy to create memories with their family on their new deck we just completed today. Are you like the Hendersons and you want to get outside, have a little bit of shade in Texas? A pergola might be for you. A covered patio might be for you. Call now for a free estimate at blah, 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 blah. Love where you live. Put your family first. So as a marketer, you have to be able to speak to them in their language, not yours. If you're a handyman or a contractor, you have different verbiage than the everyday folks that are your customers. Image and branding is so important, and you want to start it off right or restart it off right. The business killer is perfectionism. Recognize that perfectionism and realize that in marketing, there is no perfection. That's why most people fail, is because they try to have it perfect. That's why they're always swinging the hammer and they're never hiring staff or employees. This will kill your business every time because perfectionism demands everything for you. You can't scale that. You can't market it can't tweak a post on Facebook to perfection. It'd kill it. You know what? Just print it, post it, and do it. Just do it and do it now. Don't wait. Keep it simple and execute with imperfect action. Imperfect action is going to get you to where you want to be. If you don't have a model to follow, find somebody that's done what you want to do and take their decades and put them into days and save hundreds of thousands of dollars. The main reason most handyman businesses fail is because they don't have a proven marketing model and they try perfection, which you can't scale perfection. 93% of handyman businesses never make it to that $1 million mark because they keep trying perfectionism and they never post. They post once every 6 months. And they don't do it over and over and over again. The whole reason you're in business is to go from obscurity to omnipresence. How do you do that? With marketing, with the best return on your investment. You've got to follow this marketing model for the model to work. You've got to do the homework every day. You've got to take action. You'll get 7 new customers in 7 days, but you have to take that imperfect action yourself. Now, the reason 93% of all handyman businesses never make it to that $1 million mark is because they never market enough. They don't invest in the marketing. There's 8 pillars to marketing a business. It's called the business Parthenon. And Facebook encompasses all 8 of that Parthenon. And we'll go into that on another day. But you have to be able to scale your marketing to scale your business. Today, we're working on building a massive following on Facebook. But you've got to get over those limiting beliefs. And that's what your homework works on today, is getting over those limiting beliefs in business. People dismiss how important marketing is to a business. You've got to market your business more to be able to scale your business, and you can't be the one swinging the hammer. Now, the next thing that most handyman businesses don't even talk about is attrition. Yes. What is attrition? Those customers that fall off. They want to get to the $1 million business, but they don't account for that 1 to 5% of business that just falls off. That customer that stiffs you, that customer that cancels their job when you've got it on your books, that customer that just doesn't pan out. You're gonna lose some out of the buckets. You've got this bucket, you put your customers in, there's a tiny hole at the bottom. Some of those customers are gonna fall out. If you've never lost a customer before, hold on. You will. You will lose a customer. You will be fired from a job. It's inevitable. You can't make everybody happy. But when you're wanting to get to that 6 and 7 figures, you have to think about the attrition rate. Those people that are inevitably going to leave. Maybe they move. Maybe they're going through a divorce before you got around to them. Maybe their credit cards declined when you go to run it. It's natural and normal. A small business doing $100,000 or less a year usually has a 2% attrition rate. A larger one will have 4 to 5% attrition. You've got to calculate that into your marketing budget when you're looking for 2022, especially if you want to get to that 6 and 7 figures. You have to add more advertising in to compensate for those losses. Not marketing your business is what's going to keep you small. You have to be able to market your business in different ways. Now, there's a million different ways to market. If you'd like that 50 ways to market your business, just shoot me a message and I'll send it over to you. It's called the 50 Shades. The 50 Shades of Grey. That was pretty big a couple of years ago. 50 Shades of Marketing Your Business, because not everyone's the same. Facebook's my favorite. Websites is Chip's favorites. Not marketing will keep you small. If you want to grow and scale your business, marketing is so important. Now, I'm going to turn off the live video so that my people on the webinar can ask me questions. You guys, thank you for joining us. We're going to be here at noon every day for the next 7 days. Make sure and register at mcmarketing101.com/101. Again, it's www.mcmarketing101.com/101 to get started. Now I'm going to leave you guys and open it up for questions for the people that are in the 7 and 7 challenge. If you're not in it, join today.